called codification. That is a fancy word right there. If you check it out here in the book, they talk about the Europeans using it, including France and Spain. They use a derivative of it in common law with civil law in the United Kingdom. And civil law, the most important thing that you'll need to know for your exam is this third bullet on 58 right here. The civil law system is rule-based, not precedence-based. It's focused on codified laws or written laws. You write the rules down, and then people have to follow them. If you're ever on Jeopardy, this may be a good tidbit for you here. 6th century Byzantine Emperor Justinian codified the laws of Rome. So he wrote them down. So civil or tort laws and civil legal systems are different. How? How would those two be different? So civil law, we'll talk about this here with tort laws, usually focuses on a reasonable man of ordinary prudence, this says, to try to prevent foreseeable injury to the victim. So what does that mean? What do you guys think that means? Reasonable man of ordinary prudence would do to prevent foreseeable injury to the victim. So I was getting done teaching a CISSP boot camp over at Calhoun Community College, probably about 4 or 5 years ago now, that's been. And everybody know what Calhoun is? Okay. So when I was teaching over there, oftentimes for me, when I teach this at the end of the day on Friday, there's a sigh of relief because it takes a little bit out to make the magic happen for so many hours, for so long in the week, right? So I'm on Old Madison Pike. Here's Calhoun. Right? And here's Barnes & Noble and Bridge Street. So, for me, what I usually will do is I'll come here and then get on Governors and come over to Madison. That's usually what the route that I'll take to come home. So at Bridge Street here, there's a big mouth going this way, big mouth going this way, and this goes out to the interstate. And then this kind of empties into the parking lot here. And then there's a turning lane here, and then 2 lanes going this way, 2 lanes going this way. So I'm coming home Calhoun after a long CISSP boot camp, and I'm thinking, okay, well, what am I going to do for dinner? What are we going to do tonight? What do we got going on this weekend? Just kind of dazed out. Zoned out after a long fire hose week, like you guys would be at the end of this course, right? So driving home, of course, I'm doing the speed limit, and all of a sudden the traffic light right here at Bridge Street going westbound for me, going here, this turns yellow, and I'm probably 60, 70 meters away, it turns yellow, okay? So, I'm slowing down, thinking, just kind of, like I said, listening to some tunes or just kind of dazed out, thinking, okay, I got about 6-7 minutes until I get home. Right? So I come and I'm slowing down, and I get to a complete stop right here. So the vehicle stops, and all of a sudden, right next to me, I just see, so I'm stopped, this person comes, goes right through the intersection, and there was a Honda Pilot, a silver Honda Pilot right here. And this person hits the front of the Honda Pilot, and then their car ends up going off into the median here at Bridge Street, and the Honda Pilot just went like this. Like at least 2 times. I'm exaggerating, drawing 4 or 5 loops there, but at least 2 times that big old car went around. And it turns out, I'm sitting there, I'm just like, what in the hell just happened there, right? So this person is in the middle of the intersection. The front of the Honda Pilot is absolutely destroyed, and this person is over here somewhere off on the median. So I jump out of my car, and I'm walking over here. This is smoking, the Honda Pilot's smoking, like from the interior. And it turned out what happened was one of the windows ended up cracking, and all the dust from the airbags was leaking out, but it looked like it was on fire. And I looked at the car, and the passenger side's car seat, or the door, was just destroyed. So the story is told here that this guy in the Pilot, a lady was driving, she had the right of way with the blinker, or with the turn signal going into Bridge Street there, and the husband had just had rotator cuff surgery on his right arm, sitting right here, coming in, and he took the brunt of the hit. And so he was just going absolutely berserk, screaming, obviously in pain. And, for me, I was trying to help this guy out, or these people out, but also I thought the thing was on fire, right? So I stayed there, and both of them ended up getting out and helping them out over here to the sideline, over on here. But not one time did I think to myself, I'm going to go over here to check out that maroon Honda Accord. And I don't know if it was just something, inside of me where I'm thinking, this person broke the law. They were supposed to stop. Is it criminal? No, maybe not. But for some reason in my head, I never once thought about that person over there, because this person was the main focus, because I must have felt like they had been wrong. So, police come and whatever, and I stick around. I end up parking my car over here, and I see this person's all right in the Honda, and then the police officer comes over and asks me what I saw, right? So this is probably 15 minutes later. And I said, well, I'm sitting right here at the light, telling the story. I say, silver Honda Pilot's turning left, and this guy just did not stop at the stoplight. I said probably go 40, 50 miles an hour, and just blew right by me and clocked that Honda Pilot, and told him the story. And for some reason, this person walks over to the police officer and starts saying something to the police officer while I'm talking to that person. And I say, you, ma'am, should have your driver's license revoked, because if you're on the same road with me and something like that happens, that is just absolutely wrong. But think about this when we talk about some of these laws that we're applying here. Nobody died. Nothing happened further than that car, that Honda Pilot, was destroyed. When we talk about that, the reasonable man of ordinary prudence, what would they do to prevent foreseeable injury to the victim? So, is Barnes & Noble liable for that right there? Would I be liable for that right there? No? What about the person in the Honda Pilot? Would they be liable for something like that? Did they break any law? What about the person in the car coming the other way in the Honda Accord? Would they? Did they do something criminal? So there's some room for interpretation there, because it says the defendant owes a legal duty to the victim, here for civil or tort law. And if that breach of duty causes injury to the victim, usually it's physical or financial, then that is considered a tort. You've done something wrong against the person. So over here on page 60, check it out. A lot of times we see specifically these two down here on page 60 in the middle that begin with N, negligence and nuisance, not to be confused with attractive nuisance. So negligence, an example of that is wrongful death. What's the most popular one for wrongful death that we can think of? I'll give you a hint. If it don't fit, we must acquit. Right? Old Johnny Cochran, when he was defending OJ. You remember, OJ was criminally prosecuted, right? And he was found not guilty. Now, whether or not you believe that or not, that's not what we're going to talk about. But then, the Goldman family, if you recall, afterwards, sued him for wrongful death, and they won. They won that afterwards. I don't remember how much they won, but it wasn't long after that OJ ended up in jail multiple times, right? Anyway, so the nuisance that you'll see on the exam, you'll probably see these guys tightly coupled in one answer through a